How are we doing, folks? This is episode number 1 of The Search. Today I had the chance to sit down with Adam Sweeney. He is the youngest Irishman to ever summit Mount Everest. A ridiculous feat, a crazy achievement. It's nuts. Like, I'm probably never going to speak to anyone for the rest of my life that summited Mount Everest, and on the first episode I get to talk to someone about Mount Everest. This is why I want to do this. This is the kind of conversation I love having. I really enjoyed the conversation I had with Adam. Obviously, we talked about the mountain. We also talked about the decision to say out loud, I'm going to go climb Mount Everest, and did he get some imposter syndrome, and how did he feel about saying that out loud and then pushing it on social media, and how that posed its own problems and difficulties of, having to post on social media, because that's not something easy to do in today's day and age, put yourself in front of a camera and talk. So that was actually kind of comforting hearing that, because if Adam felt that way and I feel that way now too, I'm probably not the first and I'm not going to be the last. Finalizing then for the podcast, we talked about Adam has now come home from Mount Everest. He's home about 6 weeks. And so he's gone from training for years for this challenge. That's all been his focus. Obviously, he was in college too, but then he goes and climbs Mount Everest, comes back, and then he kind of has to return to normal life. He's going back to college to do his exams. How does that work? How does it feel to come home from achieving one of the biggest achievements, one of the coolest achievements known to mankind, and then have to do accounting exams? How does that feel? How does that make him feel for his future, and what's he going to do now with his future, and what perspective has Mount Everest now given him on just his normal day-to-day life? So that's kind of it. That's what we talked about today. I really enjoyed the conversation. Adam, once again, thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. Without further ado, roll the clip. And probably the first thing I want to ask you about, because I made it my biggest thing to not ask you when you came in, the half Ironman yesterday. How did that go? And how's the body feeling?
Okay, yeah. How's the body feeling with the half Ironman? To be honest, it was way harder than I thought. I was like, yeah, it's a half Ironman, it's going to be sound. 90k on the bike, easy.
90k on the bike? I did not know it was 90k on the bike. I thought it was like 40 or 50 or something.
I know, it's so many hours. That's the thing, like.
Crazy.
That's the thing, with like the swimming, it's 1.9k, but you're like, geez, that's a lot. But you finish that in 40 minutes, and then you hop on the bike, and you've got 5 hours, like. And then it was like 23 degrees yesterday. I thought I was going to die. I actually didn't think I was going to finish yesterday.
Yeah.
So, it's made for whatever might be next. A bit different, but look, we'll have to train a bit more on the bike and stuff like that. I haven't been on in years, so look.
Yeah, but the swimming you said is nearly 2k, 1.9k or something.
Yeah, but it's good crack getting out in the water. When it's warm as well.
Yeah, when it's warm, ideal, but how... only doing that in 45 minutes? I feel like that's a good time, man.
I actually don't think I don't know. I actually don't know at all.
2K,
I don't think
man,
it is.
If I had to swim, I wouldn't be able to swim 200 meters without drowning, I would say. Obviously the surfing and stuff and the paddling is fine, but sea swimming 2k in 40 minutes seems pretty... Was it 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
42, yeah, something like that. I don't know what it was. But it's crazy because you're in the water and you can just see the big barrel jellyfishes.
Man, there's some load of more. Yeah, massive.
Absolutely terrifying. You're trying to swim away from them.
You were putting one stroke and then you just handed a jellyfish.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, that's crazy. But in comparison to I suppose there's probably no comparison to Everest, but the training that you were doing for Everest at the start compared to the training you're doing now with this half Ironman, how does that compare at all? Is it different, or what's it?
Not really. So I haven't really done much since I've come back from Everest. I've obviously done...
Sure, the fatigue, I'd say, man, you're still fucking... How long are you back? About
5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's not even that long, which is crazy.
It's crazy. Last week, I think I slept 13 hours straight. You know what I mean? Last night, I was probably the same. You're just sleeping all the time, trying to catch up.
Yeah.
But Everest, it was 2 or 3 years in the making. Whereas for this now, it's right, you only have however long to do it.
Yeah.
But Everest was absolutely insane amount of training. Yeah. But also less than you think.
I feel at the same time, a lot of training for big things like this, not that I would have any clue because I've never climbed Mount Everest, but I feel a lot of it is just, you kind of do little and often, and after a while that just adds up. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, when you're doing little and often for training to climb Everest, it's probably not going to be that little when you're getting to the top end of it. There's going to be a lot of practice, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I feel as long as you're doing things consistently over time and you're sticking with it, 2 or 3 years, kind of shows that nearly anything is kind of possible. Not to get so cliche or anything like that, because but anything is possible. 2 or 3 years, and how many people? I don't know how many people now might have told you, oh, you won't be able to do that, or oh, you're too young, or oh, you're anything like this, and then you just do 2 or 3 years of training and then literally climb the biggest mountain in the world.
Yeah, it is so true. Because I was kind of looking when I was over there in Everest. I was thinking, have I done too little? Because maybe you go out on Saturday and Sunday, do 2 big hikes, and then you'd be in the gym 3 days a week and then do a stairmaster, something like that.
Yeah.
And so realistically, you're putting in if you're in the Stairmaster, you're doing 90 minutes, and then that's you done for the day. So
That's
so
hectic.
much.
That's still hectic enough, though.
Yeah, but you've so much left of the day still. Like I'm still going out doing stuff now. I had to give up drinking all that for the year. I was like, right, I'm just cutting that out because obviously that's a week of your training gone. But like that, yeah, I was actually lucky with, say, for the example of people saying you can't do it. Everyone was so supportive. Like, because I remember putting out the video, I was absolutely terrified. I did it with Sam. And it was the worst video I've ever done in my life. It's so funny look back. It took us about 2 hours to do a 20-second video.
Yeah.
But like everyone was so supportive. Like now you obviously do get the few oddballs saying, you blah blah, you can't do this blah. But like that only fuels the fire. Like you almost want to go and do it more when you hear that. So
100%.
but like it was really lucky to hear everyone, especially like the parents as well. Like the second I told them, they were like, sound, let's get it done.
Like that's crazy, man. Because like even when I think like what I'm trying to start doing here now, like obviously I kind of brought it up with the parents and I said it to them what I'm trying to do, and they were obviously full supportive of me too. But I just think that like saying like if I said to my parents, I'm going climbing Everest, I think they'd be like, hang on here now a second, you know what I mean? It seems like such a crazy goal, but then once again, kind of like I said, now I'm not the guy that can say this because I'm not climbing Mount Everest, but like after the 2 or 3 years of consistent training, what can't you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as they see you do it, like I feel like
if you're doing no practice,
Yeah,
and then you're like,
yeah.
why isn't going up Everest there? Like
Yeah.
they're probably going to be like, you're
Hold
not
on a minute.
going.
Nah,
you're not
leave that
going
off,
up
leave that off.
Everest.
But sure, at the end of the day, like they're absolutely breaking it with you going over and doing something like this. But like
100%.
they're in no control. So when you're over there, you're in somewhat control. Obviously, avalanche and stuff can go, and that's out of control. But like you have somewhat control to stay walking, going over crevasses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like they're at home sitting down and they're just like they can't hear anything for 6 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
almost like that's harder, I would say. Like
The blackout of just being like, who knows what's going to happen. As far as the dangers when you're on Everest now, I'm sure probably so many people have asked you this, but I'm genuinely curious. What is like, if you were to give like the top 3 dangers of climbing Everest, what are like the top 3?
yeah. So there was going over the icefall was probably the #1 danger this year.
Okay.
Because there was a Serac probably 3 stories tall, so just a massive block ice, 3 stories tall.
Yeah.
That they were like, right, we're not opening the icefall this year until this falls. Sure,
Okay.
it was never going to fall. Like we were waiting about 3 weeks for it to fall,
Yeah.
and it never fell. And then some crowd found a way through. So, excuse me, you get to a spot, right, and they say, right, you have to run for these 100 meters to get through this, and you're like, oh my god, like,
Wow.
yeah, and like at 5,500 meters, you are dying running through this.
I was going to say probably like, I did some maybe slightly high altitude stuff in like Yosemite or anything like that when you're hiking, man. I was just walking normally, my heart rate was through the roof.
It's
You
ridiculous,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So I suppose that's probably where the Stairmaster and all that training probably has to come in good. Like if you need to run through that straight at high altitude, getting no oxygen. And then the thing is too of like kind of decision making. And you
Yeah.
know, if something, I don't know, what's kind of the setup? How would I visualize this, what you're running through?
Yeah, so basically it's kind of, so the icefall is like it's a massive like moving glacier essentially. It moves I think 1 meter a day. So every time you go in it looks different. But like, so it's a massive whiteout and then it's kind of grand, so you're going up and down, up and down. You're kind of grand, there's a few like crevasses, but like that you hop over them, they're not that big. They're sound, you're clipped into a rope. But then you come to this and you're looking at it and you can see you're like, I really shouldn't be going through this. So you go straight underneath it.
Okay.
So that's why I say you gotta go for it. And then as you get out, then you go onto the ladders and stuff like that. So it probably takes, apparently it was easier this year. I'd say it must have been brutal the last few years, but it was
Yeah.
more dangerous this year, but it was easier.
Okay.
So it took probably 8 hours to get through or something like that. But like that,
Crazy.
now you're moving so slow. Like in the grand scheme of it, it'd probably, on sea level, it'd probably take 3 hours to get through. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's #1. What'd be kind of 2 and 3 then?
Yeah, so run out auction. So I ran out auction on the way down and 2 people died the next day from the same thing. So coming down from the summit, my Sherpa, John Don, because he was getting snow blindness, and look, geez, I wouldn't blame it on him at all. Like, it was fair enough, you're all in it together. So he changed your oxen technically, he's meant to. And he headed on, and I think just the auction ran out way quicker than expected. So they all headed on because you're like, right, you go down, I'll meet you down there. So what probably should have taken, geez, probably an hour and a half, took about like 5 hours. So essentially you're taking 2 steps and then you're lying down on the floor and then you're sliding on your arse, holding on to the rope. And then sure the downsuit's all ripped, like I don't really mind in the grand scheme of it, but then I got down and my Sherpa was like, oh, you could have died, what the hell? And I was like, geez, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, like. So that must have been a big deal. So, but look, we got through it anyway, like.
And were you coming down by yourself then when your oxygen had gone low? Did everyone around you, like your Sherpas, did they know that you were low on oxygen?
No, so like what you do up there, you say basically, right, you go ahead and then I'll catch up to you, then I'll go ahead, and you know, because you're taking breaks at different times.
Okay.
But then at this point, everyone just wants to get down. So everyone's like, right, we'll just go down. So it was just me and the Sherpas had gone down, and so had the lads, because that's what we normally had done. And if you had oxygen, you would have been sound like. But yeah, it was now an interesting one. Like, it was a good experience.
So coming down then with the lack of oxygen, is that like an asphyxiation issue then, or is that a case of you're just not getting enough? Well, maybe those are the two same thing, but is it like you're getting out of breath so fast because you don't have the oxygen to breathe, essentially? Is that
So like your body, like up there, I think your heart rate is about 140 beats per minute resting.
Okay.
So like if you're in a tent, like, so like it's only 30.
Resting in a tent is 140 BPM.
Yeah. So I think you lose about 15,000 calories a day, like just sitting there. Like,
my
it's
goodness.
crazy. It's crazy.
I never knew that.
I know.
140 BPM
Yeah.
on rest. Can you even sleep?
Nah, not really. But you're only up because it's in the dead zone. You're like, right, we're in here for 2 or 3 hours and then we're gone.
Which, if I'm correct, wasn't the case with you though.
No.
Were you in the dead zone for longer?
Yeah, we had 48 hours there. So, geez, it's absolutely devastating. But look, we were so lucky to get that second chance to go up, like.
Yeah, 100%. So I would imagine the death zone for that amount of time, that's got to be number 3 for the most dangerous.
Yeah, probably. It probably has to be.
That's crazy. 48 hours in the death zone. Even like when I was looking through just a bit of research I'd done beforehand, and kind of like what you're saying there, it's, you don't spend too long in the death zone. And then talking about how you did your first ascent, and then the first ascent didn't work, then you had to go back up again. Like, man, spending that much more time in a zone like that.
Yeah.
How do you compartmentalize that? Like, how do you, like, can you switch your head off? Or how does that work?
I genuinely think there's three Irish lads and 3 Sherpas now. They're built different. Like, they'd be sound up there. Like, almost.
How often are they doing that?
So they were doing it with us this year, and we went down to base camp, and once we got back down there 6 days after the season, our Sherpa, who's 24, went back up to Everest twice, like.
Wow.
In 6 days.
Wow.
Like, they're just different gravy. Like, they don't get enough credit for what they do. They're absolutely insane.
Have they been doing that for like years and years, I would imagine?
Well, that was his first ever summit, the Irish team, first ever summit with a group. So he'd summited before, but he tried to do it 3 times. But like, they're just so sound. Like, they're such a good crack.
Man, I always see when I was on Instagram, like, you'd be scrolling and then randomly you just see a Sherpa on like either like one of the highest mountains, no oxygen tank, and he's just smoking a cigarette or something at like a certain point up the obviously not at the summit, well, maybe at the summit, I don't know, but like seeing them, like, I don't know how they're able to just function. Man,
the last mountain I did over in Nepal, it was Ahmedabad, it was called.
Yeah.
Me and my Sherpa got to the summit, and I lay down on the ground because I was so tired. I looked over at him, he was genuinely smoking a cigarette. Like.
Man, I don't know how that works, like. That is just crazy. Oh, well, I suppose, look, it's the human body. Maybe the more you expose yourself to something like that, the more you're going to adapt. People in them places maybe are more adept to that kind of stuff because it's just what all the people do. I would imagine the Sherpas and stuff, they must be getting paid good money if they're doing this.
Yeah, so roughly, I think, I kind of worked it out afterwards. So you give them a summit bonus, and then I think it was probably about 15 grand they get for the 2 months overall, which, like, for putting your life at risk, like, now the average wage over in Nepal is 1,500 a year.
Okay.
So, like, in the grand scheme, but they're doing that twice a year, but again, they're putting their lives at risk for it. Like, it's such a risky job.
Man, that's crazy. I don't know how anyone would do that. I mean, like, I've quite a fear of heights now. I don't know if heights come into it when you're, well, obviously it does. What am I saying? You're climbing the biggest mountain on the planet.
Yeah, but not too much though, because like you're so dizzy. You almost don't think about heights. You don't have time to think about it. Like.
Yeah, but man, I still can't get over the fact that those guys are doing that the whole time, and that's like their norm. That's just what they're doing.
That's their job. They go into work. They're like, right, I'm heading off to work there. And they're literally going and climbing Everest. Like, it's nuts.
So like, even when you get then to the point of like coming back here now, and like even like previous stresses and all that kind of stuff you've had, how does that now weigh up compared to previous times? Like the stresses and things you feel now, how do they the same? Are they the same? Is there a new perspective? How now? Or has this even affected it at all, the fact you've climbed Mount Everest? Like, let's say there's something you're nervous about or you're anxious about, how do you compartmentalize that? Is that something that you can compare to Everest and be like, look, lads, I've done Everest.
Yeah.
This has to be grand.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've gained from that experience, or is it still kind of something that's maybe kind of on either side of a spectrum, let's say?
I know, it's definitely helped massively. Like, not so much the Everest side of it, it's kind of the side of, like, you could have died. So you kind of look at life in a different way. You're like, well, like, obviously, I think there's about 2 or 3% chance. So it's nothing crazy.
2, or something like that.
So it's nothing crazy.
But that's still like 2 out of 100 people, 1 out of 50 people is going to die.
Yeah.
Which, to me, if I'm taking them odds, I just don't like the sound of them odds anyways, but I don't like the sound of Mount Everest as it is, because I'd probably just, man, it's just such a scary.
Hey, if you get
scary thing
98% in tests, you're absolutely buzzing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that is actually a good point. And I suppose that then shows once again the proclivity towards, like, probably just humans in general to be like, let's focus on the tiny percentage. It could go wrong.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
like you should be like, man, there's a 98% chance I could do maybe one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Not that you're
100%.
climbing Mount Everest just because it's cool. Because it's also just a great achievement. But like, yeah, I don't know. That's definitely, that'd definitely be the way I look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Did people look at that? Have you heard that before? You know, oh, there's a 2% chance of you dying.
Yeah, the whole time.
And
the
is
whole time.
that the kind of thing you're saying? Well, sure, even 98% on a test, you're like, that sounds good.
Yeah, I kind of do say that, but like it's kind of weird because you don't think about it that way. Obviously, at the start, you kind of have to realize the risk because, like, say you're leaving your family and stuff like that, you do realize that you could go over there and you might not come back. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, once you're over there, you genuinely feel like nothing can go wrong. Like, you really do. It almost feels like you're like, this is kind of sound.
You probably need to be in that headspace
Yeah.
though, because if you're constantly, like, obviously you need to be cautious and all that, but if you're constantly thinking about how things can go wrong, I feel like some of the time you're nearly going to lead yourself to that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? You
yeah.
need to be positive. You need to be thinking that you have 98% of the test. You have the right people around you guiding you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to go well. But yeah, man, I still think it's crazy. When you went up the mountain, you have your gear in your back, so obviously you're trying to limit that gear because you can't bring up a load of stuff up.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like you said, you're resting at 140 BPM. Is there anything you bring up that was just like completely useless? You were like, why did I bring this?
Nah, you're literally bringing
No.
it on. Man, so like you're wearing the same pair of jocks for 2 weeks.
Boom!
You're wearing like socks. Oh man, the
Yeah.
socks on the way back. Open up that bag when I came home was the worst thing I've ever smelled. I thought I was gonna pass out. Like, that's probably got a more chance of dying smelling that. Like. Brutal.
Yeah,
But like you're
funny.
carrying nothing like.
Yeah, man, because I was even thinking, I was like, surely you're not bringing up anything that you look at the bag when you get back down, you're like, why did I bring that? What's the food situation? Do you bring, like, is it like powdered food?
No,
Or is
you
it, like-
bring so like you actually get stuff cooked on the way up. So up to Camp 2, you kind of get stuff cooked. But we had gone up there to do a rotation before, and everyone got food poisoning. So we were like, right,
Everyone got food poisoning.
yeah. So we were like, right, we're just gonna bring up. You know those expedition kits?
Man, no,
The-
actually,
just
no, yeah.
put boiling
yeah,
water in 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get them. Now, I probably ate one there. They're grand, but you can't eat at that altitude. Like, that's always been something I struggled with. So probably for five days, I didn't really eat.
So what's the story with the eating at a high altitude? How does that work?
Well, yeah, it's a lot harder. Like, I've always struggled, like, not eating. The lads are fairly decent at it. Now, obviously, you're not getting in enough calories. Like, in the death zone, your body can't really digest food, so you're not eating anything up there.
Okay.
And then below, I kind of find the same. Like, so if I'd be lucky to get, like, a pack of noodles in a day, like.
But man, that is crazy. You're saying you're burning 15,000 calories a day? And you can still climb Mount Everest
Yeah, well,
and eating no food.
You go over and you try to put on a little bit of fat, like, beforehand, because
Naturally.
that's what you need, because that's
That's
what
your
your body's
fuel.
going to be using.
Yeah.
But yeah, come back. I think I lost about 10 kg over there. So it'd be a good weight loss.
Man,
thing over
anyone
there.
trying to lose some weight, just climb Everest. Forget about the treadmill, forget about calorie deficit. Well, I suppose 15,000 calories is a calorie deficit, but man, that's nuts. Going on then to the decision kind of before all this started then, how long were you thinking of doing this? And how long were you kind of battling yourself, being like, I want to do this, it's also crazy, but I really want to do this? How long were you kind of battling that?
Yeah,
or
so
was it something that you were just like, lads, we're doing it?
Yeah,
We're
it was
going.
kind of fortunate. So actually, a lady came into our school. She'd done Everest.
Okay.
The person she was climbing with actually fell and died on Everest. So he went a young clipped, I think, to go to the toilet, and the next thing slipped, and he was gone. So he's an Irish fella, poor fella. They have a plaque over them there and everything for him. But she came into our school. She'd been in our school, and she kind of was talking about it. Now, I was always thinking about it. My mother like loves Shackleton, loves Tom Crean, and then loves Edmund Hillary and Thames Norgay. We actually have something in our toilet when it was like the first summit ever. So maybe sitting there every day, that helped you out, like.
Yeah.
But so then when she came in, I kind of went, look, it's reality. If I met someone that can do it, it's kind of reality. So then I went home and was like, what do you think? And they were like, right, how can we get it done? Like, so then it was going over, doing the training and stuff like that, and kind of putting in geez, it must be like, looking back, it's probably 6 years in the making, really.
making.
Yeah.
But sure, yeah, like you were no stranger to climbing mountains and stuff back here in Ireland and stuff like that as well. Like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know, I suppose maybe there is a bit of pedigree there for sure. But then again, Mount Everest is like literally like that is just going from like, what's the highest peak in Ireland?
1,000 Carrauntoohil, yeah.
And then Everest is
8848. Bit of a difference.
well, just go 6 times the amount, or however many more, 7 times the amount. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
No, it's mad. Like I couldn't put it in perspective being here. I was like, I don't know what it is. And then someone says airplanes, they cruise at Everest's altitude. So when you look
Wow.
at it, and I was like, geez, that's kind of insane.
That's kind of fried.
Because now, in fairness, if you do fly in at a higher altitude, like say you fly into probably like 3,000 meters.
Yeah, which
so
is
like,
still, that's crazy even to even think that you're flying into that, and even just, yeah, that's probably around what I was, that's probably not even what I was around over in America, and I found that I was like just walking around normally. I was
You'd be goosed. You would be goosed, wouldn't
goosed,
you? It's
completely,
ridiculous. Like.
completely, yeah. The higher heart rate, the fact you said you're at 140 BPM at rest,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts. It is
That's
nuts.
just, yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. Going back to the doubt, you said people when you got that kind of, well, you didn't even get that much doubt, let's say.
Yeah.
Before you posted, you said about the video, you said it was the worst video you posted or whatever. Did you have more fear about posting the video than you did with Everest, or how were they weighing up against each other?
I actually think I did. Yeah, because like now we're lucky, like, because you know, like yourself, like you're good friends with Sam, but like he's been through a lot of stuff. So like if you go and say, right, I'm going to do a video, he'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? So like when you're that age, you're so worried about what everyone thinks about you.
Shout out Sam O'Hara.
Sam O'H Fitness, some man.
Shout out Sam O'H. But that's the thing, man. Even when I'm starting this, and I was talking to Sam's like, man, go do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's always so important. Now, obviously, you should always be your own man, whatever, but to always have someone like that in your corner saying, man, go do that.
Yeah. It kind of makes you feel class, like, go and do it.
Invaluable, man.
Yeah,
you know? So, but I think that's interesting, because even like with this now too, like me posting and here I can kind of give my input. Like this for me is definitely outside my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But man, I think that's probably like a good thing to be doing, you know. And even like we had the conversation about, you know, I was coming out of my job because I didn't like doing it. Like up there, man, I was kind of just, I was never really doing anything that I was like, man, this is actually like challenging me, you know.
Yeah.
And like I think for me now, the way I'm seeing this is it's like an opportunity to kind of, you know, maybe even channel that bit of anxiety and nerves to try and actually get better at this, you know what I mean? So once again, to bring it all back, just shout out Sam O'H, because if he wasn't as kind with his advice, I don't know if I probably would have done this. So it's always great to have someone in your corner like that. I know you were going to climb Everest anyways, but he always told me this might be something, you know, that I'd be good at doing. But the doubt part, did anyone doubt you? And if people did doubt you, I know you said that kind of added to the flames, let's say, but what was like the percentage of people who were like, oh, that's brilliant, and then the percent of people who were like, oh, what are you doing? Like, are you crazy?
Yeah, well, like almost until about like 6 months beforehand, like I completely, like if people kind of brought up Everest, I'd try and like skip out of it or something like that.
Okay.
Because I'd be like, look, you know, so what are they going to think? What are they going to think?
Mm-hmm.
But then even like coming back and after doing these things, like you actually don't care what anyone thinks. It's kind of class. But yeah, it's kind of funny because we had Jason over there, so he had gone down because he had an ankle injury, so he couldn't summit.
I saw that.
Yeah, absolutely devastating.
Heartache.
Oh, it was absolutely
Heartbreak,
sure, he was a
sorry.
leader, like, so he had brought us up for three years. But he was doing all the videos beforehand, and he said when he posted that we didn't summit, like the amount of people that commented that had never commented before, being like, oh, so sorry dear. They almost want you to fail, but like that, like you almost, that adds fuel to fire. You're almost buzzing. You're like, and then once you go and do it, you're like, yeah, you know what, I did do it. Like, you know, I could have done it. And then say if you're up in the dead zone, you're like, this is terrible. You're like, I know, people said that you couldn't do it. Like, you have to go over and do it now. Like.
One guy posted on Instagram saying, you're never going to do this.
Yeah.
You're just fueling the one part. Man, you said Jason was the guy that didn't summit? Man, that must be heartbreaking.
Well, he had done Everest and K2 before.
Oh, so he's done them?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then never mind.
But like that, this was his team. He'd put together the All-Irish team.
Okay,
so like we'd all envisioned all of us stand there together. So like it was absolutely devastating when he was sitting there in Camp 2. You were almost a little bit annoyed because you were thinking, you can definitely push on. Now, hindsight, knowing what he actually had, there was no, like he's going to get surgery on Monday. He's out for 12 weeks. The ligaments off the bone. Like there was no chance. And like for him, it was so much harder for him. But like it was a very quiet tent that night when he kind of said it to everyone. We were like, is there any chance to give it a go? He's like, I've been up there before. I know it's like, I actually can't put you all at risk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was a very selfless. Yeah, there we go. Just couldn't get the word out there. But like it was.
He's selfish.
Yeah.
He's so selfish.
He's going to watch and be like, hey, what's going on here? Like, but yeah, like we wouldn't have got the second chance to go up and summit because he organised, because we'd ran out of oxygen at that point. When we got back down, we didn't have enough to go again.
Yeah.
So he'd organised extra Sherpas to come up, extra oxygen, food. So like looking back, like it was the best decision. And when he came down, he was absolutely buzzing. We got down, like.
Well, yeah, that's great, because even for him being the lead and then seeing that he can't do that now, that must be a bit, you know, it feels like things are out of his hands. You know? But even seeing that the leader of your group has broken his ankle and is now not going to come with you, how did that How did that affect your thought process of summiting? Were you like, geez, if the leaves
Yeah,
at this
100%.
did that rattle you guys a bit?
Yeah, so
or-
when we had to walk from base camp up to camp 2, like once the sun comes up, it's probably 40 degrees over there, and you're walking and you're absolutely sweating. Yeah, so it's just snow all around you, like, so it's just reflecting. And like us Irish people, we're not used to the heat, like.
That's crazy, man. I didn't even know it
I
was
know,
40 degrees.
yeah,
That's fried.
it's awful. It's absolutely awful.
Man, in this right now, I'm feeling it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's nice now. We'll take it,
Yeah,
but like
no, we
anymore,
will,
like
we
whoa,
will.
relax a bit, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just 40 degrees. So I was actually behind him, and I was struggling. Like I had to sit down a good few times going up, and the next time I got there, and he goes, "Yeah, I can't go." And I'm thinking, well, why if he can't go, why can I go? But then like, luckily there was a bit of Wi-Fi, so I contacted the family and stuff like that. And they're like, "Look, just give it a go" and stuff like that. And yeah, it kind of worked out. But look, it was kind of a freak accident and stuff like that. I think he had the ligament was off the bone for a little while. He kind of knew that there was something there.
Okay.
But yeah, it was absolutely heartbreaking. But then again, like it was so nice because at the end of the day, it's his team who got there, and on all the headlines, it's it's Black Mountaineering's team. So which is kind of important for all of us because reality, we wouldn't have been getting there if it wasn't for him. Like.
Well, I suppose, and that's it. And at the end of the day, you guys all got up. You all came down. Maybe he couldn't have had the involvement he wanted, but at the end of the day, that's still, that's still good.
Yeah, exactly. He had a huge involvement still, like.
Yeah. He's not selfish, guys. Okay.
No. Selfless. I got that word down there.
When you summited, and you have this feeling of you're building up to one point, and then you get to the summit, what did that feel like? Are you at a point where you're like, I thought this was going to be more crazy, or are you wow, this is crazy, or what were the feelings like when you hit the summit?
So it's so hard, like on the way up. Like we were talking about it after with the lads, but like there is points on that where you're sitting down and you're just resting for 5 minutes, something like that, just taking a little break, having a bit of grub, and like you close your eyes and like genuinely you're so tired to the point of like, if you fell asleep and no one woke you up, you're like, right, I'm so tired, that's kind of fine. And now, like it sounds really weird to people, but like only people in circumstances kind of know what that's like. But everyone said that they kind of felt like that. Like you can see how people just up there, they're on the ropes and they just sit down, they fall asleep, and that's them gone. But like, so getting to the top, like you've been training for whatever 4 years, three or 2 years properly, going all the time, and then like this huge wave of motion comes over, and you're just so happy with yourself. Now we summited in the dark because there was queues, so we said, "Feck, we'll go up. We don't really mind too much." And we got up there. I was absolutely freezing, but then again, you have to worry about the way down. Like that's the most dangerous part, and we knew that there was 300 odd people coming behind us, so you have to unclip around all of them people. So you're kind of like, right, this is class, but now lock in, because obviously it's the moment you've worked up to and you've done it, but you haven't done it until you got down really. So we all kind of said a few words up there, and we were like, right lads, cop on now. We actually really have to like lock in coming down here, because it's so easy that's where people just slip and something goes wrong, you unclip and you're gone.
Yeah, you've gotten there. We've done. We're finished.
Yeah.
We're definitely not finished.
No, the hardest part is to come, like.
Yeah, is that the hardest part? Is it harder going down than going up?
Yeah, it's so sketchy, like, because you essentially have 2 lanyards, right? So one coming out here with like a belay on each. Yeah. And so you have to clip around people. There's probably a 2 or 3 kilometer drop on your right side. So you clip around.
2 or 3 kilometer
I know,
drop
yeah,
is
crazy. It's crazy. But you clip around, and then next thing you have to get the other clip. But sometimes, like, there's lads there that were unclipping your clip. So you were going around with this one, and then there's people unclipping, and you're screaming at them, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be like, sorry there, mate, would you mind just leaving that off?
Sorry, man, that's actually my clip. I'm not trying to fall off the 2 or 3 kilometer
Yeah,
drop.
I'm not trying to fall out with your head, but would you mind? Like,
yeah, it's just my life.
Yeah, exactly. So you're screaming and saying, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
And then now there's points where like there might be 8 or 9 people, and you're like, I'm actually not clipping on here. I'm just going to go for this. Like, but realistically, you should be clipped in at all times.
100%.
Like. But yeah, coming down there was so tough, like.
Yeah.
So mentally exhausting. And then once you get down to camp 4, you just lie down in that tent, you're like, oh, thank God.
Let's go. What's the BPM in the tent there then? Like at rest at camp 2, is that you're not 140 BPM? You must be lower.
Probably 100, yeah, probably 100.
That's still fried, man. Like recovery is not even a word in your dictionary probably literally until now. Like even when you get back, your body's still trying to figure out where it is. Like you're going from being in such a high stress environment to being in a low stress environment, and then your body trying to trust that new low stress environment, which I find crazy. Another thing I find crazy, going back to what you were saying, you went up the first time, you couldn't get up, you had to come back down, spend that more time in the death zone, and then go again. How close did you get to the peak?
Oh, we were probably 5 hours from it.
5 hours.
5 hours. So I think vertically probably 300 meters. Wow. But like to put in like a perspective. So we had gone up to the balcony. I think we'd only walked about 800 meters. It's taken us 8 hours. So like 100 meters per hour, just because like it's so vertical.
Yeah, literally
Yeah,
must
it's
be,
crazy
must be
though,
like
like-
climbing a wall. Like,
Yeah,
you
so
know what I mean?
but you're looking at it, and it's like two laps of track. You've done that in 8 hours. But like I think we could have got on. The weather wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But it's because the Sherpas had done so much that season. They were kind of wrecked, and one of them in particular was kind of wrecked. So the second, like the wind kind of came in, and then we kind of said, "Can we keep going on?" Look, we said it's up to you at the end of the day because it's your decision. You know what's best. And then we said we'll wait for our lead to come around the corner. And we saw him come around the corner. He was kind of swaying a bit.
Yeah.
So you're like, right, it's best to go down here. And like, no one was talking to each other on the way down. It was pure silence. And then once we got into the tent, your man, that lead, came in and was like, "You Irish, you want to do Everest? You came over to do Everest. We're doing Everest." So we were like, "Oh damn, we're actually going up and doing this again. Like, let's go."
Let's go. What a result.
Yeah, but like
that's
we
right.
didn't think we were going to do it. Like we said, we were talking to each other. We said realistically, we're not going to be able to get up there the second time because we've been up here for so long. But we may as well go out and give it a go. But like that's why it's so beneficial having the lads, because you're looking at them and you're saying, well, like I'm not quitting until you're quitting, because we'd all be someone like that, and they're thinking the exact same thing. Like, so seeing them going up, and they're probably looking at you saying, right, if you keep going, I'm going to keep going. So like having that, like, I don't think it would have happened. If it was just you and if it was just you yourself, you'd be like, you know what, this ain't worth it. Like, but like we were kind of grand now coming up second time. Now when I tell you there was 400 fall summits, no, it just kept going on. Like every time you're like, what's the crack? Is that summit? They'd be like, nah, another hour. And then you'd be going, you'd be like, surely that's it. But you could always see a shadow in the background. You're like, well, obviously it's got to be that. Like.
Yeah, it's got to be that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, no, that's fried. Yeah, because even like the way I think of it is like all the training you've done, and then you go to summit, and then they tell you you're so close, like you said, like a few hundred meters away, and then they say, lads, look, it's just not going to happen. Like.
Oh, it's devastating. It's devastating. I couldn't put that emotion to words. Like it was just. Like you're so annoyed, like it's just.
But at the same time, do you nearly think, like, if the Sherpas are saying, lads, we can't go, do you kind of have to be like, right, well, like, are you going to take the, like, for instance, we said the 98% on the test, are you going to take a lower score on the test to try and get to the summit, or how does that work?
Nah.
Internally, are you like, oh, I've come so far, but then at the same time, it's like, well, come here, I don't want to die either.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, you make a promise to back home as well, like, don't make any stupid decisions. So I literally said to your man, I said, look, what do you think? He done Everest 11 times. So he knew, like, I was like, you've done this 11 times.
Just
yeah, it's
insane,
crazy.
man.
It's crazy. So I was like, you've done this 11 times, what do you think? And he said, to be honest with you, man, I don't think this is safe. And I said, right, that's it then, we'll go down. I kind of thought that we were going to get a second crack at it, in fairness. And then once we got back down, the lads were up for going again, like the Sherpas were up for going. So that was it, because like realistically it's 70 grand all in. Like it takes two, like there's points where like when I was trying to get the money together where I was like, I don't think I can do Everest purely because of the money. Like,
man, fair play to you for getting that money together.
it was absolutely brutal. I was
My goodness.
One of the worst. That was definitely the hardest part of the whole training thing beforehand. Like I think the day before I paid the last €1,000. Like, you know what I mean? So
I remember Sam was telling me that in the lead up to it, he was like, don't know if Adam's gonna be able to do it. He can't get the money and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, man, surely like Sham's going to Everest.
yeah.
Someone, like, even you told me there was there a business sponsor that you brought a flag up for him or something.
Yeah.
That's class.
I know, yeah.
That's kind of funny.
It's nice. So you're like, you're trying to do everything, and then you're putting all
Yeah.
your funds, and then you're there, and you're like, well, I've put 70 grand in this. I cannot get 70 grand again.
Yeah.
So this is it. This is a dream over then. So then to get that second chance, you're like, let's go, let's
that's
go.
so good. We're
But
so
thank
back.
God. So and like that, like if I ever did want to get sponsors, again, I'd say it would probably be easier because you kind of have
Man,
you have the CV like.
you got the portfolio
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Like,
I hope so. I hope
who's
so.
saying, man, yeah, that you've done Everest. Coming back then, so what has that process been like in the sense that, you know, you come back from doing probably one of the hardest things you can do on the planet, and you're coming back to, you're still college, or college is just done?
Yeah, 12 exams in August. We won't bring them up. Brutal.
Forget about Everest, lads.
Yeah,
12
yeah.
But how do you come back from doing something like that, where, like, for instance, you just have to do the training to get to Everest? If you
Yeah.
do the training, you get there, and then you come back to this life now where it's like, oh, well, you have to do exams to pass these exams so you can go into this job, so you need permission to go and do this job. Whereas
Yeah.
you're kind of just like, well, if I just put my mind to something, I can do anything. I don't need to do your exams. I don't need to do anything anyone tells me to do. I just need to do what I know I have to. You know what I mean? I don't need to do things that, because I feel like nowadays, man, like even with health and safety and stuff, like you need a sign off to have a fart, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So how does that, when you come back here now and you're seeing that, like, you need to tick so many boxes for so many medial, you know, safety things or whatever, how does that, after having done Everest, how is that coming in now? Because like man, you've done Everest, I know it's a lecture at 9. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, well, over there, like, what is it? Like, you're getting up, you're eating, you're walking, you're sleeping. You know what I mean? That's all you're focused on for 2 months straight. Like, nothing else is a worry.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny because, like, with the mindset over there, like all the like the Nepali people, like they have such little money and stuff like that, but yet they're so much say like happier as a like a whole group. Like you're talking to them and like they literally have nothing, and then like that kind of like you're kind of looking, you're like, well, like why am I putting so much stress on say these small things when like you've got a car to drive, you've got a house, you know, you've got food on the table every day. And like I know it is like, as you say, like it's like it is a cliche thing to say, but like you go over there and like it really does put into perspective like how lucky we are over here. Now I know there is added stress and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, like sure you can't be stressing too much. But yeah, like coming back home is tough. I remember being over there and you're like, right, all I want to do is get back home. This is so tough. And then you come back home and like also there's a bit of a come down after because you have such an adrenaline rush for 2 months straight, and then you come back down, you're like, you know, like that, like I know you have to go to work and stuff like that, and you have to do a few bits, but look, you'd be glad to be home. It's put in perspective, like I'm doing accountancy in college now, and I don't think it's for me anymore. Like, and beforehand I was like I might do it just to do it, like, you know what I mean, just make money. But now you're looking at it and being like, well, what's the point? Like, life is so short. There's no point wasting on going and being accountant if you don't want to be it. Like, so like that, I'll probably go and do something that I'd wait for it to do. So it's been a good thing in that element. So it hasn't just helped like just going over and doing it, but like coming back home, you're like, well, what's the point? And like, and it's the same with you, like starting up this. Like
100%, man.
You're
I'm
kind of like, what's the
literally
point?
just
Like?
about to say it. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm very much level with you there because, you know, if there's something you think you might like doing, like for instance, if it's you and it's climbing Everest or just doing genuinely hard things, and that's what you find meaning from in life, you owe it to yourself to try and make your life around that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like every single person owes it to themselves to have a life they love.
Yeah.
Whether that be the guys over in Nepal who have not really too much, but they don't want for much. If that's their version of it, let's go.
Yeah.
That's the box ticked. But like for me, man, going up and sitting in an office where I'm not finding meaning in the work, how am I supposed to spend 9 hours, how am I supposed to spend 40 hours of my week every week for the next 50 years doing something that I find zero purpose in?
Yeah.
Where does that lead? And I think I don't even want to know the answer.
Yeah.
So that's why when I see you doing what you're doing, and once again, like for me, we talk about Sam, we'll talk about you once again, it's inspirational for me too, because there's guys out here doing this stuff, man, that are chasing what they want. And man, what's better than chasing something you think you want? And if it goes wrong, well look, like I have my engineering degree, I'll fall back on it if I have to. But like the idea of, and even this is what I've felt now, even just recording the few medial videos and doing the stuff I'm doing now, like man, I'm enjoying this so much more than I could ever enjoy the engineering. And man, I'm not looking, if I get 2 views, if I get 3 views, I don't care, because this is what I'm enjoying. And I know if I keep doing it, I'm gonna get better at it.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, that's where I find my meaning. That's where I can look down the line and say, if I'm on this path, I'm happy. But if I'm on that other path in an office working for someone that doesn't care about me, that doesn't even know I exist because I'm working for a huge multinational corporation installing new water systems.
Yeah.
If that's for you, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that being for you. I'm not trying to belittle the people that that's for, but for me, that doesn't tick my box. And if it ticks your box, man, you have something I can't get. You know, you have a box ticked I don't. But it's just not going to be for me. And that's where I think, you know, with you, it's once again, it's inspiration, because there's other guys my age that are doing what they want to do, and I want to try and do that too. I mightn't be climbing Everest, but I'll still be trying what I want to do. You know what I mean? So. Well,
at the end of the day, like realistically, everyone cares so much what other people think, but no one actually cares what you're doing, and everyone's kind of supportive when you actually get into the ground. And to be honest,
as long as you're sound, like,
as long as
you're generally sound, you're being a nice guy, and you just want to do things that you want to do.
And if they're not supportive, they're not for you. Like, they're not your friend group. You know what I mean? So it's kind of nice. So like that, Jay. Go ahead and do whatever you want. Like, you may as well, because like that, it is like you just said. Like, it's cool seeing other people do stuff, because like that, then you're absolutely buzzing, because you're like, you know what? If they're doing that, like, I can actually go and do what I want. Like.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but look, you know, I don't know where this is going to go, and even I made a video the other day. I don't know if I'm going to be the most successful YouTuber, video poster, podcaster, but I know it's going to be something I find meaning in, and maybe it will be, and maybe it won't. And even the thing is, if I do this, let's say for a year, and I don't like it, but I've tried really hard at it for a year.
You're buzzing with yourself, yeah.
I've done my best. It wasn't for me. I'll go on to another thing and do my best at it for a certain period of time, because I feel like, and even this is probably something you might be able to relate to a tiny bit, like what you're saying about the college degree, and you're figuring out now that it's not really for you. And a lot of people, like when I came out of college, I went and did a bit of traveling, but then I was like, you know what, let's go into a job for a while and let's see what it's like. I can get my experience for the CV, and I'll get a bit of money, which those two things are great.
Yeah.
But then it comes to the point where you're spending 40 hours a week somewhere like that. You're also training in your own spare time, doing whatever you're interested in, your hobbies. You're not really thinking about what you want from life.
No.
And then it comes to a point where you're like, well, I've done my 2 years. Now they're asking me, hey, you did a great job on the grad program. We want to keep you on, but, well, not but, we're going to give you this raise in salary. We're going to give you this bonus, and you're more than welcome to stay. And then you're thinking, well, this hasn't been that bad. No, it's not what I want to do, but it's not that bad. And it just takes away that effort, and I having to think, well, hang on a second, Harry, what do I want?
Yeah. Well, I heard this thing, and it was like, there's something where like you're almost better off being worse off than being comfortable, because if you're comfortable, then you don't actually, like if you're worse off, you're like, well, what's the point?
I have to.
Yeah, there's nothing else to lose here.
I have to.
Whereas if you're comfortable, like, well, look, I have the few things that I want to do. What's the point in giving it a go? Whereas, like, literally what you're saying, where the other side of it is like, well, look, there's no other choice, like, and if this doesn't work out, well, so what? I'm in the same position as I was before, like.
Burn the boats, as they say. but so I suppose that's the question I was going to ask you, and it kind of answers itself. You have now come back a somewhat different person, let's say, than what you went over. Maybe beforehand you went over thinking, oh, well, I'll do my accounting degree, maybe I'll go into that and whatever. But now you have done Everest, you're kind of like, you're going to finish, you're going to do the exams, you're going to finish it. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
May as well have it like that. You
might as well. As well, if you've done 4 years, I think it would actually just be silly to not go and finish it off, you know what I mean? And then you have something to fall back on. But so now you've come home, you're that different, well, you're somewhat of a different person now. So how does that feel? You know, do you feel kind of like you've broken out of a cage? Or now do you feel like you're nearly overwhelmed with how much you could do?
Well, yeah, it's just by trying to find what the next thing is. Like, it is hard to do it, but no, I don't know, you kind of feel good. Like, anywhere you go, like, you're kind of just, you're walking almost like you don't, not that you don't give a shit, like, but you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of just happy in yourself, which is nice, like, because going over before, you're kind of thinking, oh, geez, what's this person think? Are they looking at me? Are they look blah, blah? And now you're like, well, look, I don't really care. If they're looking at me, they're looking at me. Like, so, because sure, there's even people kind of coming up to you and saying, geez, fair play in Everest. So, like, it's real nice. So, look, yeah, I suppose it's a weird one, like, because I'm trying to find that thing. I'm trying to find that, like, having that adrenaline rush again. And I suppose I'm kind of struggling trying to find that. Like, doing the half Ironman thing yesterday was kind of like almost a thing where it's like, well, look, I may as well do something, like.
Let's see what we can do.
To get what it is. And then, now that's done, you're like, right, what can I do next? And then you're also thinking, like, I've been to the highest point in the world. Like, what can I do to kind of, besides, like, obviously going over the mountains that have a higher death rate and stuff like that, and I don't know if that's something I want to put my family through. So you kind of have to be careful in both sides of it. But yeah, look, it's definitely beneficial. Like, in all ways in life, like.
I mean, from what I can hear, it's giving you that added perspective now of, like, you know, what before I think really matters, what now really matters.
Yeah.
And then, like, even when I quit my job, man, for the first like 2 weeks, I was at a point where I was like, man, I need to figure out what I'm doing. I have no clue what I'm doing. And I felt like really out of my depth, because once again, it kind of felt like now I was like this and now I'm like this and I have all the possibilities. But the thing is, and it kind of goes back to once again, like I was kind of, well, what we were saying there about, you know, as long as you're just being a sound lad and trying to do your best.
Yeah.
Like, man, I would like to think now maybe I'm going very, I don't even know what the word is here, but like something good's going to find you. Your thing's going to find you. If you keep trying what you want to do and you keep doing what you think you might like, something good's going to find you. So once again, trying this, hopefully that's going to be that for me. But once again, I don't know. But when you say the adrenaline, because this for me now, this isn't too adrenaline filling, let's say, as Mount Everest or something. But is that something now that you want to have from the next hard things you try? And if so, how does that make you feel? Because if you know you kind of need that adrenaline rush, is that then like, what do I do? You know, because if you're going to be getting an adrenaline rush, I'm just going to make the downstream assumption you're probably going to have to risk your life somewhat.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to do something, but I don't even know, is the Ironman an adrenaline thing? Or is that kind of just like a slow burn and at the end you're like, let's go, and that's like that's the adrenaline of that? Or, you know, how does that feel then? What do you think you're going to do in terms of the adrenaline seeking, let's say? In a safe way, I hope.
Yeah, I know. Well,
in a somewhat safe, in a 98% on the test way, I hope.
Well, like, I'd like to go over and do Everest solo next. I think that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, so just maybe no action and just go up yourself. Like, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Crazy.
Maybe if I'm doing solo, I'd go action. But yeah, I suppose, you just have to be so careful in a way, because like it's such a selfish thing going over and doing that for 2 months, like when you have people back home stressing about you the whole time. Like. So I also don't want to, like, I'd have to have conversations about what they want as well, because at the end of the day, like, there's no point in going over and then something happens and then they have to deal with it. You don't have, realistically, you won't have to deal with it because you're gone, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know, like I think I just like doing, like I like doing hard stuff. Like I kind of enjoy the pain and stuff like that of suffering during it, and afterwards going like, fair play to you. You didn't think you could do it, and then you went over and you actually showed yourself you could do it. So it's just kind of something where it's like I'd love to like cycle across Europe with the brother or something like that. Like that wouldn't be anything crazy. We'd be going chill, going to a few different spots, like. But you know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's going out and seeing the world in your own little way and kind of enjoying it as well. Like some expeditions, I think it'd be nice to go over and kind of chill out a bit, like say a cycle or something like that. Go 100k a day and then relax on the beach in France. How bad would that be? Like,
that's how bad. Even I know a guy, and you might know him too. He cycled from Ireland to Asia, and he's only living down the road. I think he ended up in China or somewhere like that. Got the boat from Rosselair to France, ended up out there.
What a legend.
And that's just why he did. And he did that when he was 18.
Go away. How long did it take him?
Man, he could have been at that for a year and a half.
I'd say it was class. So he's kind of, he wasn't taking the absolute mickey going way too fast. Like he was kind of enjoying it.
No, he was, and like also there were people along the way that he'd meet up with and stuff.
Class,
so
yeah.
Now since I think he's deleted the stuff, because I wanted to talk to him as well. You know what I mean? Because like that's a crazy story. Because I even remember when I was on Instagram and he'd be posting, and he'd just be in like the craziest places ever. You know what I mean? And that's so nuts. And even like at 18. To go and do that, I just think is nuts. And even kind of like with you going climbing Everest once again is nuts. And like now I don't know if the two things, the hardness of Everest and cycling to Asia are the same thing.
But psychologically, he's doing it for a year and a half. I'm doing it for 2 months. 100%.
As well, like, so it's different. There's give and take. But yeah, I suppose, man, the doing hard things. What do you think it gives you? Does it give you more of a perspective, or does it just make you feel good?
Yeah, it makes you feel good. Like I think. Now, when you go to all these countries, it does give you a different perspective because you may as well get out of Ireland and see what the world has.
100%.
Like you went traveling for a bit as well, like so you kind of know what that is like, and you see the world in a different place. But like that, I don't know. It's just like I think it's just about showing what you can do. Like you are here for so short. Like so, it's about cramming all the stuff that you can do in as possible. Whether that be really tough things or whether it be traveling, whether it be something else. Like So I don't know. I think it's just something that I found to enjoy, maybe afterwards more than during it. So, like, I wouldn't say I love it during it. Like, it's absolutely brutal. Like,
yeah, but then afterwards, I suppose, like, you know, maybe use the term you're trying to find out who you are afterwards. After you do something hard, you're finding out who you are. You know
well,
it's
what I mean? Even like a marathon. You know, people go and do a marathon and they say that was the worst thing I've ever done during it. Like, my mate did no training. And he went to the marathon. We did it the other day. And
did he do no training?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
he finished it.
Yeah.
At what time?
Sub 5. So we were buzzing.
That's nuts. That is nuts, man. That's crazy.
He was fairly buzzing. So like we went and did that in Journey. He was like, I'm never doing this again. Why do people do this? Afterwards, like he was struggling during it. Afterwards, like that was sound. That was so sound. And then he's like, I'm going to sign up for another one. So you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing in everything in life. Like you do something in Journey, you might be like, this sucks. And then afterwards, you're like, that was fairly handy.
Or even the idea of it, you're like, oh, this is going to be so bad. This is going to be whatever. And then before you get through it, and you're like, man, that was just
that was handy enough.
Wasn't the worst thing ever. Going on to the next task or something you think you're going to do, and I would imagine, I don't know if K2 is on your list, but I saw the K2 has like a 25% mortality rate.
Yeah.
Is that something you're considering, or is that something you're just like, you know, not like that's just too, like that'd be putting too much pressure on the folks back home?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And also on yourself, like 1 in 4 chance of dying, man.
Yeah, that's high. Like, you see, I don't know. I think if I was to do it, it'd be 5 or 6 years time. Like, I don't think I have the skills to do K2. See, the problem with K2 is Everest is kind of like slabs. So if there's an avalanche somewhere, it gets trapped in one area. Whereas K2 is just straight down. So if there's an avalanche, it's taking out the whole team. Like, I was listening to the story, and Jason, the leader, like he went over and his entire team got wiped out on K2 except himself. So like, listen to them, and then he went back and did it again. Yeah, except him, and he had to back climb for 5 days, no ropes, down pretty much vertical, like. So
did the rest of the group die?
No, all of his group died. Yeah, they all got wiped out by the avalanche.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. So like, when you hear stories like that, and then he went back and did it again, like an absolute smash in fairness to him. But
oh my goodness.
he says
to go back after that, man.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy.
That man has a set of balls.
Yeah.
Holy.
But he says he's looked back and he says like he hopes like no one does it, because he says it's not a trophy. It's so dangerous. Like he says it's not a medal at the end of the day, but he'd always obviously help someone if they want to do it. But yeah, that'd be a while down the line. Right now, it's not in my mind, because like that 1 in 4 is just because. If it was skill level, then you're like, all right, it's on me, but it's just the avalanche risk, like. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day. Like I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no, And I'd say more than likely in a few years, yeah, probably I'll have that
Yeah.
go again. But right now, like, I'm happy with what I had, and maybe
Yeah.
there's kind of other bits that I'd prefer to do before it, like.
Yeah, man, that is crazy that this whole team got
I
wiped
know,
out.
I know. And then to go back,
And
I can't believe it. Like.
And then back climbing, no ropes, you said, by himself?
No
or?
ropes for 5 days, yeah. Said all he could think about was,
Man, that guy's been to hell and come back.
oh, stop. He actually has,
That's
yeah.
going to hell and coming back.
Yeah.
Going somewhere like that, and like you being, and he was the leader on that climb.
No,
was he,
no,
or
they
was
were
he
just a team. They were just all going up
Man,
together.
that's nearly even more scary because he's not even the guy that knows how to get
Yeah,
back. You know, he's
yeah.
not the lead. He's just.
Yeah, but he's some skills like and stuff like
Oh,
that.
he'd have to, man.
You'd be sitting there listening, be like, "What are you talking about right now? That's insane!" Like, they'd be like, "Yeah." And you're like, "What?" And then you just go back to eat. You're like, "What just happened?" Like,
But isn't that the crazy thing though? When some people's like the hardest thing they've ever done, and then someone else the hardest thing they've ever done, and like he's just there eating. He's like, "Yeah, like my whole like terrible thing happened to K2," and he just continues eating.
yeah,
as if
you're like,
that's
"What
just
is going on?" Like,
normal life. And that's once again like when I say about the perspective. Like obviously it's great getting perspective of like seeing like other countries and all that kind of stuff. But the perspective then of kind of just being like, is it that bad? Like whatever circumstance I'm in right now, is it that bad? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It gives you a whole new way to view a problem, whereas before you were probably like, man, this is terrible. But then when you go and experience something like that,
yeah.
man, throw anything at you. Literally throw anything at you and you're going to be fine.
Yeah, well, like going back to like perspective, like we were over and when we were coming down off the summit, like you're feeling real sorry for yourself. You're like, this sucks. Next thing there was a fella who hopped past us. He had no legs. Like I mean, he was like had nothing below here. So he had an ice axe in one hand and a Jumar and a sender going up one way, and like he hopped the entire way up to the summit, like.
And
You're
he
like,
summited.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's just ridiculous.
Like there's always someone doing something where you're like, wow, that's insane. So like you're coming down, you're like, oh, this is terrible. And then you see this fella, you're like, okay, I have it so easy.
But man, even the thing is like that is just so inspirational to a point. Like, look what's capable. Look
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
human body. Look what the human mind can do and what it can be. Like if someone's going up like that, like that's why I think hard things are so good, man. Because you literally don't know what's possible.
Yeah.
So many people might tell you, no, you'll never do that. No, you won't be able to do that. Maybe you can though.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that bit, like maybe you can do it. You owe it to yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
If
you
it's
do.
something you want to do, of
Yeah,
course. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I wonder if I can do Mount Everest, but I don't think I want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. You know, but like for things like this, if I think I might want to do it, I owe it to myself.
Yeah, you do,
You know,
absolutely.
man, that's crazy though. A guy going up with no legs.
Oh man, it was nuts. And I was like, fair play to you. Like you had to stop and say fair play, and everyone was saying it because you can't not say nothing. Like you can't just see this fellow walk by.
That
and
would never even
hop up.
cross your mind of thinking that's possible until you see someone do that.
No, it's absolutely insane. And then there was a lady over there, like she had terminal cancer, and she went over and she was doing it, and she summoned. You're like, this is like just the stories over there are just incredible of people going up like.
Like man, that's something that you're gonna hold with you for the rest of your life, man. And like that's just, I don't know. I feel like that's such valuable life experience. Not that everyone has to go and climb Mount Everest for that matter, but like just doing Everest, seeing all them other people doing these things. Like man, literally what's not possible? I don't know. I just feel like it's so like as far as like giving yourself a bit of hope as to like what you can actually do. Man, how good. Looking back then, like what would you tell yourself then? A year ago, 2 years ago, or even how long ago did you make the decision that you're gonna go?
Properly, I think it must have been 2021, I'd say, so 5 years
Okay,
ago.
so well, yeah. So before that, you know, if you're battling with the whole thing, is this possible? Is this not possible? Looking back on that, like, what would be one piece of advice, even if there's someone else out there that's looking to do something, that they're kind of on a knife edge. They're like, I don't know if I can do this. I think I can do, but I don't know if I can. Like, what kind of advice are you giving in that situation, or even what advice are you giving to yourself when you were that guy back wrestling that problem?
Yeah, I suppose don't be so nervous about what's ahead. Like, as in, like, go and post that video. Because, like, say if I started 5 years ago posting video, it would have been a lot easier to raise funds and stuff like that. So even if you're thinking about something down the line, like, go on social media because it is a great tool. I know it can be used badly sometimes as well.
Yeah, couldn't
but
agree more.
like that, going out and actually putting yourself out there and being able to get traction through things is unbelievable. So just like that, just put the head down, keep it up. Like I'm fairly happy with what I did before, but I suppose for advice for anyone younger, like actually just put yourself out there because, like I keep going back to like no one cares what you're gonna do. Obviously, when you're doing it, they're all for you. But like people want to see you successful. The people around you will always look out for you. At the end of the day, like if they're truly like sound people, like you're saying, they will always help you get to where you want to be. Which might be a crazy thing. Which might even be doing a marathon, might be doing a half marathon, might be doing a 5K. Like you know what I mean? Like you never know.
Relative to you, whatever you find hard, that's all
Exactly.
it is. That's
Go
all
out
it
and-
has to be.
Go ahead and give it a go. And like because the feeling afterwards, you're never gonna get anything like from saying right, I'll never be able to do that, and then going out and doing what you didn't think was possible. Then you're like, this is unbelievable. And that it can be such like it can be a huge thing, it can be a small thing, it can be something like literally anything. And then afterwards, you're like, geez, you know what? Like, I actually did something that I didn't think I could do. Like, what can't I do now? Like, and like that, like you said, like, you owe it to yourself to actually go out and give that a go. Like, there's so much to be doing. Now, depending on what you want to do is what you want to do. But yeah, to go out and push yourself as hard as you can, because you only have what, 80 years if you're lucky, like 80, 90 years if you're lucky. So.
Man, and I think my dad always tells me this, my father always tells me this. Maybe it's not what you're doing, but it's how you do it. And that'll lead you to where you need to be.
Yeah. And if you can help someone along the way.
Man, if you can help someone along the way, thank you. Because that's something we need to put in. Pay it forward, man.
Yeah, 100%.
You never know what opportunity you can give to someone. Like, people are saying, oh, let me pay you back for it. No, pay it forward, man. You never know who you're going to help and who they're going to help and all this kind of stuff. And being kind and just trying to help people, man.
Because if you think about it, like, a lot of the times it's like, say you're like, right, I want to go out and I want to do this and I want to make loads of money. And then you're like, well, I want to help people. Like, the money will follow, like, say something like that. That's all I want. But if you're going out and you're paying out to the world, like, it's going to come back to you eventually.
Has to.
So go out and give that a go, like, because you never know what you can do for someone. Like.
Just be sound, man.
Yeah, I know, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, literally just be sound.
It's not that hard, just be sound.
Man, literally just be sound. Man, that's probably actually one last thing. Was it worth it?
100%.
100%?
Yeah, sure, I want to go back and do it again, like, that's the thing with it. So.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
Scrap that question, yeah.
Definitely, like, and just through everything that's come out through it and all the opportunities and how you feel after and stuff like that. Now, look, if something happened, I'm sure it'd be a different 100%. Perspective, but yeah, 100%. Definitely for now it was, yeah.
Find out more about yourself. I feel like that's what we need to be doing.
100%.
So, right, folks, that's it. Thank you for listening. If anyone's still here, and for the third time, shout out Sam O'Hara.